we're live, baby. We got a little Jones surprise.
Whoa!
Yeah!
People said we're not gonna go to one, but I.
Lose like 600 viewers.
It's fine. It's okay. This won't be archived. It's fine.
It will be archived.
It will? You just sneak this in there?
This is definitely gonna be archived.
Yeah.
What's up, Jones?
Hi! What's up? I played 2 games today, so, you know, I don't have a ton to talk about. Just hung out with a bunch of cool people.
Nice.
Oh, we don't care about that.
We,
Chatted with Mike Morheim for 10 minutes. It's no
we
big
can
deal,
call
you know.
this, an E3 day in the life of Brandon Jones or whatever.
Hung out with Daniel Kaiser and
Oh.
Rohan Rivas
Yeah.
and Jeremy Hoffman. You familiar with these people?
Well, chat might not be.
They might know. They might know Hoffman. He was on our Game of Thrones show we did back at GT. Hi, everybody. Sorry to yank you back. You're a good man for hanging around. But like last night and tonight, I was like 20 minutes away from home when the stream ended, and this I was just ridiculously close. I literally just like ran in the door like right when it stopped. But I played Call of Duty today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, definitely.
I saw a demo of Call of Duty, and I played multiplayer, and I lost every single match. It was very fun. I did 3 matches.
Sounds like Call of Duty to me.
Yeah, it was. One of the interesting things is in multiplayer there are divisions now. So there's basically four or five different class types.
Okay.
And there's men and women for both class types. And they have different skills, different weapons that they start with. Obviously, if you can pick up whatever weapon you want, like in the world. So I picked the wrong class starting out because I picked a rifle that was not automatic. And so just any dude that had a machine gun was like every time I ran into the bunker, I would just get annihilated. So multiplayer was fun. It reminded me of old COD. Like it wasn't. I was really kind of struggling to find that super unique thing about it, other than the fact it was just gorgeous. I mean, it was actually kind of surreal playing this old-fashioned Call of Duty World War II version of this franchise that I remember that I've played on these old consoles, in HD. Granted, it's not back to the OG Xbox or anything, but
yeah, I do have to question though, because it's so much about Call of Duty for the past few years has been, double jumps and dashes and mobility, and so what does this feel like?
I think my main takeaway, multiplayer seemed, I wouldn't say generic, but seemed expected. There was not a lot of surprises there. The classes were interesting because one of the classes you have incendiary bullets, which is interesting. So if you bring in a shotgun, you can just destroy. And some classes are more for situational awareness. So if they're targeting something, other people can see it on the battlefield. And a lot of this plays into what you were saying, a lot of the class stuff that exists in the recent shooters that they've done. And I've really liked Call of Duty lately, and it definitely is a transition to not be able to run on walls, to not be able to double jump, to not be able to have these go invisible and have all these crazy future abilities. But I think one of the biggest things, and I won't take up too much of your time, one of the biggest takeaways from this that I appreciate, that I think Call of Duty has been missing, that I'm looking forward to in the campaign specifically, is a lot of the stories. Black Ops 3 is my favorite story that they've done. Include Black Ops 1 also is one of my favorite Call of Duty campaigns of all time. But the characters you're dealing with are very cocky. You're in the future. There's a lot of attitude. There's a lot of confidence. You don't get a lot of moments where you really get down to earth, really connecting with these characters. That's why I like Black Ops 3, because it really questions what you're seeing and what people's intentions are. And it was very interesting doing the single player campaign and being with my brothers, being with these soldiers and having a guy, as I'm leaving a church to go into another battlefield, and a guy goes in front of me and he's like, "Stay back," and turns and gets his head blown off. And that was very affecting. It was kind of shocking to me. And I'm hoping that this game is written very well. I'm hoping there's a lot of, just like we do, amongst the allies, just kind of in jokes and us kind of brothers in arms and, having the common goal and realizing we're all in this together. And I think that is a vibe that has been missing from Call of Duty, and I'm looking forward to that. And I have not played Battlefield 1, so I do not know if that's something that that they did. But That was very unique, and it was interesting that there's no regenerative health. You got to get the health pack.
Oh, nice.
And there's a soldier you get it from, so you got to find that guy. So it was kind of neat that like he was about to go into a building and just turned to his guy like, hey, and the guy's like, oh, and threw him a health pack, and he opened it up, took the bottle out, and like did the whole animation like before he went in. And so I think that's like my biggest takeaway that I thought was very interesting from it was just gorgeous and bombastic and everything's blown up all over the place. And I cannot emphasize how badly I got my ass kicked in multiplayer. The last mode that we played was called War, and
That's amazing.
It's your simple like objective-based thing. It's like protect this thing. If you fail, you move on to here. If you fail, you move on to here. If you fail, you got to defend that last point. If you fail, they win. We couldn't even take the first thing, and then when they switched sides, they just cleaned house. I mean, like I don't know if we just got the absolute best Call of Duty players on the opposing side, but they unfortunately completely wasted us. But one thing what is interesting is you're Nazis. Like if one side or the other, you're the Allies or you're the Axis, and it was kind of a bummer that they didn't speak German. They have a German accent, and so it was interesting that they're like, "Go get to point B," it's like I kind of wish that was in German. Like that would be interesting if you had to like.
Sure.
Memorize like A, B, C in German, to know. Like,
probably I've seen it too much from players, but yeah.
But like, I wonder if there's some like language option or something. Like that would be very interesting. But like it was like normally in like sci-fi shooters or something like it's like I'm the red team now. But like it definitely was kind of a psychological transition to be like I'm a Nazi now, okay, and like have like the situational awareness being like spouted at me in a German accent. But absolutely gorgeous and. I like a lot of the trailers that they've shown so far for Call of Duty have been very like busy, have been very just kind of like jumping from one set piece moment to the next, and it's like planes flying into buildings. I've seen that, like brick, like structures falling over. I've seen that, tanks blowing up. I've seen that, just a lot of this is like it's exciting. At the Sony press conference, they literally had explosions going, like fireworks going off on stage. So like it's it's ballistic and it's it gets your heart pumping, but it was really nice seeing like. The entire like a whole campaign mission, I think it was really campaign more than multiplayer that surprised me, and just imagining like the struggle of like they set up the mission. It's like we got to go protect that church, and so you like get into the church, and then you get up to a sniper position, and you're protecting the guy. And it's not just like, protect that random guy, go protect Carlos. Like before the guy goes out, you're at the door with him, and he turns to you, and he's like. Protect me. Like you got like I'm gonna go out into this battlefield and like you got my back, man. Like you gotta protect me. And so it's nice knowing like, okay, I wanna succeed in this mission, obviously. I wanna beat this level, but like I also kind of feel for this guy that like has to go out, into the battlefield while I'm protecting him. And there's a lot of character to the single player campaign. Like when you have your sniper rifle and you're up in the tower, he brings up the gun and there's like a little medal like wrapped around the gun, like a little like if you're in like a fighter jet, like the common thing is to see like the picture of the guy's wife like up on the dashboard, and like there's just a little bit of that. And so I don't know if that was like a mission for them, like, but I think they could possibly counter like the lasers and the like cloaking and all the crazy effects that we're used to in Call of Duty of late, and kind of match that with a little more realism, little history lesson. And just kind of a more grounded experience, and just like it's just easier to fall in love with these characters, to actually like respect these people that you're going into battle with, and be like, I don't want these people to die. Like, even in like some of the modern Call of Duties where you like see some like Soap, you like see a name over, and it's like, okay, I think that guy's pretty infallible. Like, I don't think Soap's in trouble. Like I imagine he will survive this, or that when he dies. It'll be a giant, big theatrical end to some crazy mission that I'll play 5 or 6 times. But life is fleeting in that campaign. Like there were some people that like I said, like in mid-line of dialogue would get shot and die. And, you just kind of had to like, I just got to leave them and keep on pushing forward through the battle. So that was neat. They did the single player. I did not get to play. I just watched a demonstration of it, and then I got to play multiplayer very poorly. And I checked out. Do you have any questions before I move on to another game?
Which one's
curious?
better, Jones?
What do you mean? Which one's better?
Which one's better?
He was doing that to us earlier.
Which COD better?
Yeah.
Well, Black Ops 3 is my favorite. Like, Black Ops 1 is still my favorite campaign because it screwed with me mentally, and like no Call of Duty has done that, and I really appreciated that. But of the recent ones, Black Ops 3 is my fave. I thought the multiplayer was really on point, and I enjoyed that campaign. But
So this one's not as good as Black Ops 3.
well, I've played the entirety of Black Ops 3, and I have not played the entirety of this. And I did not get to play the campaign, so I just played a multiplayer. But there was a lot of good variety. The first level was actually kind of similar to like recent COD levels. I can't remember if it was Black Ops 3, but there's like one multiplayer map in a recent COD where there's like a tidal wave that like comes in. So like you'll hear an alarm, and it's like you got to get to high ground because it's like a big wave comes crashing in. And it seemed like that. It was lots of bunkers, lots of like just bricks everywhere.
Well, destroy
buildings.
One of the things like is there any kind of equivalent to like a kill streak in this still, or is?
Yeah, you get medals. Anytime.
But I don't mean like a medal, but I mean like something that you activate as you go through.
I lost blood. I did not get that far. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Well, I mean,
performance-wise, I maybe could have done.
There are a lot of kill streaks that I saw that I never actually earned because it was just a helicopter shooting at me or something.
I think what was crazy actually in multiplayer, now that I think of it, I wonder if that's how vehicles work, because I would just be like running through a trench and then die and be like, what happened? And then they do the replays, which is great, and actually a lot of shooters don't do, but it's like very instructional in Call of Duty to be like, how did I just die? Ah, okay. Like, that's how the guy saw me. When you see someone like looking down their sights at the doorway, and you see your, dumb butt just come walking in the doorway like, hello, and like, they just headshot you immediately. You're like, point taken. Like, I will be careful when I walk into rooms. But, like, I would die, and it would cut to a plane, and the guy would be looking through, like, the glass of the cockpit, and it couldn't see. It was like fogged, and I'm like, I can't. How does he know I'm there? Like he's just like shooting. So I wonder if while you're flying, there's kind of a situational awareness. They kind of direct you, like, yeah, there's maybe people in this area. Because I definitely got taken out by planes a lot. So like I don't know if that's a kill streak. I don't. At no point was like there planes in the environment or something. That's probably a kill streak.
Jones, what else did you see?
Crash N.Sane Trilogy.
Okay.
Did you see the news this morning?
Coco.
Playable. Crash's little sister. Playable in all 3 games. She has her own custom animations. She's got a little laptop, so she's got like her little
laptop.
Idle animations. If you don't play for a while, she'll just sit down and put up her laptop, and she's a hacker. And the contextually, Kyle, you'll appreciate this. There's context. How they figured it out was, or how they put her in the games is that in Crash 3, which I did not get to. I play Crash 1 a lot, but I guess there's time travel involved.
Yeah.
And so she is hacked into the time matrix or whatever and traveled back to Crash 1 and 2.
That's great.
And is playing all of those. So I got to play as her and got to suffer through some levels. I was the only person in the demo, and they were like, why don't you play a level? And I'm like, okay. And I just couldn't beat it. And it's like, I mean, I eventually did, but it was like kind of stressful having like 4 developers all just like standing around watching me, and I'm like, come on. Just get away from that damn like rolling ball. The only critique I could have of that game is like maybe they could streamline the process of switching games, because you definitely have to like they had the debug menu, so if you just like booted up Crash 2 and jumped right in, whereas like you definitely have to like go back out to the menu, wait for it to load, select the game, go in, and then pick an area and then go into that area. So like the actual like moving out of one game and going into the other to a specific point is not like super fast. And I wonder if you're remaking and doing like a collection of multiple games, like I would appreciate that if there was. I'm trying to think of like what game recently did that where they had like a playlist of crazy levels where you could just like sample a bunch of levels like in a weird order.
They did some weird stuff with Rare Replay. I don't remember anything specifically like that, but yeah,
they did drop out of Rare
there was like
Replay
an endless
fast,
turbo tunnel and stuff for Battletoads.
Oh, nice.
It's like how long can you last through it?
For real, this is a serious question. Did you have fun playing Crash Bandicoot?
I did. What took some time to get good at was the analog stick, because like all the Crash games I play with the D-pad.
Yeah.
And so like having that just really subtle like finesse of him walking back and forth, it took a little bit to transition, but I love those games. They it's tough because. On one end, like they're gonna package it in an interesting way, like it is a celebration of those 3 games, but like it is those 3 games, and so it's like, I can't come here and say that I've had some like amazing new revelation about the Crash series, like it's Crash, like, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and they were like, did you play Warped? And I'm like, no, I never played Warped. And they're like, okay, well, we like this one level on the Great Wall of China. And like, it just came rushing back to me. I'm like, I have played this level.
Yeah.
Because I think we did like a countdown or something.
Oh, yeah.
That we needed Crash for. And it's one of like the first levels in Crash 3. Mm-hmm. And somebody like had a disc, or like I had it lying around. And so I like popped in and I was like, I have played this. And And one thing that they said a lot that I appreciated is they brought in a lot of fans, a lot of people that they know are like obsessive about Crash, speedrunners, like people that are like infamous at like playing the game super fast, and like brought them in, and they're like, most of the time these people didn't skip a beat. They're like, we handed off a controller and the guy just like immediately ran through the level. But it's gorgeous, and it's hilarious up-resing a PS1 game, because there's like on that level, I'm like looking in the background. I'm like, this background is really pretty, and I'm thinking like, did the PS1 game even have a background? Like maybe just like a really simple silhouette of like, yeah, there's kind of mountains back there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kyle, you were talking about this the other day. It's like with Mega Man, like you want those pixels to be like, and the polygons to be like chunky still. Like you want it to really like capture that aesthetic.
Yeah. Crash had a different style for sure, though. I think actually they didn't shade too much. I think he is kind of just an orange dude.
Right. So yeah, so that's the thing. Like, you saw that was when they did Wind Waker, and they added that shader.
Yeah.
Like that actually makes the game. It does look significantly different. So, but do you feel like they? Yeah. How do you feel about that aesthetic? Does it still feel right, or does it feel like a little weird?
It does not feel weird. Yeah.
Okay.
It does not feel like this is odd. I mean, it's not like. It is not the prettiest PlayStation 4 game I have ever played, but like it looks significantly better than the old games. Ton of personality. Plus, you got Coco, who has like her own attitude, and she's less like wacky like Crash, a little more down to earth. And there's like little bits of animation they pointed out, like on the Great Wall of China level, you like ride on a tiger. And when she's done, I guess like Crash is like, later, tiger, and she like actually stops and like pets him. It's like, goodbye, and then like hops through the portal. So yeah, she's a little more respectful, a little more down to earth. Yeah, I had a good time. I mean, I just think it's I don't know if it's the game that will convince people that are not Crash fans to like dig Crash. But if you are a fan of any of those games, if that in any way interests you, like there's nothing bad about it. There's no concessions made. Like there's nothing that they were like, oh, we really wanted to do this but couldn't do it. And because they have these little announcements, they've like thrown out another little character there. Like I would not be surprised if there's a couple more secrets, like a couple more things that they're throwing in there. But just don't have a ton of experience with Crash. Just was gonna stop by Activision and had already played Destiny 2 at Judges Week, or at the event, and so I was like, yeah, sure, wouldn't hurt to play Crash. But I do want to point out. So I also went to a couple industry shindigs this evening.
Yeah.
And I would like to point out. Let me see if I still can, like easily access the card. My absolute favorite interaction from this evening.
Yeah.
Was I don't know if I have it. I might put it in my wallet. A guy from whose name I do not remember, from Kojima Productions.
Oh, okay.
Unsolicited.
Yeah.
Approaches me at the bar.
Yeah.
At the JW Marriott. While I'm talking to other people, just wedges into the conversation, approaches me directly, and he's like, I just want to say thank you for letting us use your reaction of Death Stranding in our video.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you to us. Like, oh, anytime, I mean, I know that was a stretch for us to allow Kojima Productions to use Easy Allies footage. Mm-hmm. That was a stretch. That's really not what we're about, We really don't want to be associated, with that company, or just like, we're very protective of our stuff. It's just bizarre. It's like, you're thanking me? Like,
Right.
And was just very enthusiastic, and talked to him very candidly about PT and all of that stuff. And yeah, so we have fans out there, and it's because of, we are able to sustain because of our amazing patronage and all of our support online. And it's wild. It's wild to go and meet these people, and you have to understand, like, a lot of it is that we work with so many people in the industry, and you see so many people on video, and so I get this, like, a lot, like 80% of the interactions that I have are person I recognize. Go up to that person, hey, what's up? And then that person's like, do you know this person? And it's always like, yeah.
Right.
Like, I kind of know, but I can't say
when you
where we
introduced me
met
to
or if that
Alexa,
even happened at all.
When you introduced me to Alexa the other day, I was
Yeah.
like, I know her by name.
Right.
I've seen her face. The two aren't connected that well somehow.
Right.
It's just like, we've met. I don't know. That kind of thing. Because the thing is not just like whether a video is online. It's like, we go to all these different press events, and like people are there milling about and playing games together and such, and it's like, it's hard to keep track of who you actually have met and haven't met, and like whether you've talked to somebody about a game and actually like got their name in that conversation.
Right.
So it's pretty funny, these interactions sometimes.
Jones, can I share an opposite story pretty quick?
Yeah.
So, you remember Tiny Brains? It was close to the launch of the PS4, this game Tiny Brains?
Yep.
The developer of that was a fan of the Final Bossman, and so at, I think it was PAX, he was like, direct messaging me on Twitter. It was like, hey, will you come play this game? And I said, sure, yeah, absolutely. And we kind of became friends from that. And then, so, okay, we'll skip forward to today. I was having a panel with Matt Pat that was about how to become a YouTube superstar.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because, like, I know these.
Did you learn some lessons from Matt Pat? I mean, did you?
Genuinely, Jones, I did. But he was, and my advice was like, pick the games that like mean something to you.
Yeah.
And he's just like, come on, Kyle, that's weak. Yeah, I need something. I said, okay, can I give you Matt Pat? Can I give you a game that you shouldn't play? And I was like, Project Darwin, and I called out that game in particular because I thought it looked bad. This guy, this friend from Tiny Brains, is a developer of Project Darwin. I feel so bad.
Well,
I was like, don't play. Project Darwin is going nowhere. Take it from me. I can sniff it out. That game is boring trash.
Is it almost good as me talking to at DICE in Vegas to Nathan from Capybara Games and asking him what he thought of Below? That was a good one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I was like, what do you think of Below? And he's like, I'm excited about it. And I was like, cool. And then he started talking about it, and I was like, he's making that game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that work in this industry.
Yeah.
But I got done, and I was like, oh, let me swing by the Marriott, and I'll see if anybody's there. And then I went by the bar, and Alexa was there with Andrea and all the What's Good Game gals, and I was like, oh, how you doing? Who are you talking to? And they were talking to Rockstar, and I was like, well, no, I'm not going home now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was there. I was right out the door, and then it was a bunch of people from Rockstar, and
Jones.
Rockstar.
That's what we have you out there for. Slick Rick, baby.
But they're pumped, and I love Rockstar telling me. They're just like, hey, and if you're ever interested, like, in doing stuff, I was like, because you never, like, reach out to me. I'm like, we haven't released a game in a couple of years.
Right.
But I'm like, the millisecond RDR2 comes out, you're gonna be sick of me, man. Like, we're gonna go nuts. But What's Good Games is fantastic, and I was talking with them a lot about doing some synergistic stuff. And I was on GameSpot today with I was gonna say Screw Attack, part of Screw Attack, mostly Game Attack. And that's another crew that I would love to do some multiplayer musings with, or some streaming online stuff.
But they live in Texas.
You should play online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just do a little 2-on-2.
Sure.
Do a little Gang Beasts or some Overcooked or something.
Yeah.
Now
chat's telling me Project Darwin's cool too. Now I feel double bad.
it
was a bad
it cool,
presentation.
It looks interesting. I didn't I didn't get
Can we
close
say
to it.
it was a bad presentation?
Yeah. That was a bad presentation.
It sold itself too much.
Yeah.
It set itself up as like a meaningful survival experience, and then like transformed into like, haha, killing, jump, and it's like, make up your mind. Like, that's a little confusing.
Reading the email, the press release, I got a completely different picture of the game than I got from that presentation. So like, okay, this might be okay.
Yeah, but once again, it's hard to sell a game. It's hard to package it together.
Hard to sell a game.
But yeah, so I did. You met with some people, went to some parties tonight, and just checked out a couple games. But I'm like wall to wall tomorrow, especially Days Gone.
Oh yeah, I saw it today.
Yeah.
I told him about it today. So.
Nice. Well, I don't want to like reiterate things that you've already said, but I'm looking forward to that.
For sure.
So, more stuff coming, and thank you for the epilogue. At the end of the book, there's more pages.
That's a good epilogue.
But thank you so much, everybody. I know I wish I could be in chat all the time, but like it just flies by so fast, and it's tough to like listen to actually like hear like what's going on. But like I was at Pactor's party, I was watching. Like I was at the Marriott and talking with everybody.
Oh my gosh!
And people will come up to me and they're like, "What's up, Jones? Are you streaming now?" And I was like, "Yeah." I like bring up my phone. I'm like, "Look, they're in my garage right now." And so I love being a part of the whole thing, and I've definitely learned. Now that we're getting into the actual show, like weighing like what things I went to that were worth it, what things were not, and so if the world is still turning in E3 2018 and Easy Allies is still a thing, I will definitely I gotta be a part of more of our press conference reactions and stuff like that. But it's been interesting, like actually being there and meeting up with people. Because I mean, they're still there. Like people, like that's the crazy thing is that like most of the devs and most of the PR people like do their jobs all day, and then like they literally have nothing to do until tomorrow. And like I don't have, you know, like I would love to get community comments done for everybody's E3, you know, thoughts and predictions and all that stuff. And like Judge Jones Part 3, I have like assembled, but I haven't, you know, exported yet. So like I have other things that I want to do, and like these like 6 o'clock hits, those doors close, and these people are out. You know, so like you go, you know, to these like bars, and they're just like, you know, people are still rocking and rolling right now. So
well, I mean, it's a hard thing too, because I mean, like, yeah, you do have amicable relationships with a lot of these people that for most of the year they're just email, they're a name, you know, and then you know, I get into the Sony booth and I get a quick hug with a guy, and he's like, all right, I'll catch you in a second. And then he goes in and he's like too busy with God of War to like even, you know, handle coming back and remembering that he was going to talk to me. And, you know, and then he does for a little bit, but it's like, I didn't see you at the thing last night. He's like, well, no, we were actually like covering your thing last night. So it's such a weird thing.
And I was chatting with John Drake and Andrea Renee in the hallway outside the bathrooms, and some dude came by us, threw up on the ground, kept on walking. And you know, it's like you just don't get like, this is a crazy group, but like that's never happened in this garage. Like I've never seen you do that, Blood. So you know, I'm just trying new experiences at E3 this year. You know, I'm just like I just want to get out there. I just want to see what this show is all about from all angles.
So Jones, we skipped past something. So we're gonna post a video of everyone's hopes and dreams for E3 2017.
Our May community comments was predictions and stuff like that for E3. It'll likely go up after our E3 coverage, probably this weekend.
When it has no value.
Well, you can see, you can gauge afterward like what they thought. I mean, like all the community comment videos we've ever put up are like after the fact. You know, it's like, oh, I'm playing this month, and like presumably that person who made that comment has now moved on to other games and is doing other things.
Sure.
But it is kind of fun to look back and like, okay, yeah, that was 3 or 4 weeks back. Like we were playing those games, we were obsessed with that stuff. So. It's any other way you want to break my balls, Kyle? Is there anything else you want to like?
Oh, he got me real good.
Is there any other way?
I was wrapping up the show, and like he just like cut me off in the middle to say that I wasn't wrapping up, and I'm like, I was okay.
It's like I
didn't go in the order that he wanted.
I was with Craig on getting the GameSpot stage today.
Yeah.
And beforehand, Craig's like, so what? Disappointing. What did you think was disappointing? And I was like, oh, you know, I don't know. I was like, I'm pissed there was no Animal Crossing in Nintendo, but that's just like me and my own little like, you know, vices. And it's like, oh, you know, I wasn't a huge fan of the way they handled Battlefront 2 at EA, and I'm like, it was bummed that we didn't see more Star Wars games, and I hate that they were super smug about putting the campaign in it. And it's not that like Battlefront 2 is bad. Like I really like the multiplayer demo. The single player story looks interesting. I just don't like the way they talk about it and the way they talk about themselves on stage. And he was like, oh, okay, no comment. Puts in a laptop. And then we like get on stage, and he was like, so Jones, what's your major disappointment? I was like, oh, Star Wars. And he's like, so they gave you a campaign and you're complaining? And I was like, what? Like, why are you breaking my balls live? Like, why did you bring that up before?
That's a host, man.
Yep.
Wow.
That's a host.
He learned, might have learned 1 or 2 tricks from you, Kyle.
I would never do that to you.
Just put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, we're live now.
Yeah.
You know?
But like that's what producers do. Like
Right.
that's what pre-interview producers do. Absolutely.
And I love these mics, because we have like the ear mics. Mm-hmm. So you get like this while you're talking, and it's like connected to a cable like on your hip. So if I turn this way, it's like, oh, I can't. Okay, like, yeah, it's interesting, but it's fun. And I will be on tomorrow, I think around 5 p.m. with Kinda Funny on the GameSpot stage. So if you want to tune in there.
Pitch.
And it was also a great. I felt like a celeb because it was also a great opportunity. That like it's rare that you like tweet out at E3 like I will be at this exact spot for the next hour. And I was like, hey, I'm on the GameSpot stage. And like, I didn't think about that.
People don't actually miss it.
Got off the stage, and there was just like, you know, 10 or so allies just like waiting there, like, and like, it was really nice. It was really nice to check in with people. And, yeah. Oh, that's cool. And that just never gets old. So if you want to take a picture, if you want to get a hug, if you want to say hi, do it. Make it happen. Take a t-shirt or a bag or something and just throw it at me.
Okay, yeah. It's 5 o'clock. Cool.
Oh, there we go. Confirmed. You heard it here first. No speculation here at Easy Allies, not when Blood is on camera.
Jones, you want to give us a nice, clean wrap-up?
Hi, everybody. So this was day 1 of E3. There are 2 more days. Speaking to people that are exhibitors at E3, they are bewildered. Like, they're like, this cannot be day 1. Like, it feels like day 8. Like, I've been in LA for so many days. But we are just getting started, and like I said, I only checked out a couple games today. Are there still games that we did not talk about tonight?
Yeah.
Like,
Me and
like,
Ben both have games for sure.
So
Huber's got another game for sure.
So it just speaks to the magnitude of this event, like how many amazing games there are. Like we can be super critical of all the press conferences and just like Sony didn't do as good a job as Xbox.
But you know what?
And then you get to the booth and it's like I gotta play all these games.
Again, that conversation, like me and some other journalists were there, and like Sony was taking that feedback seriously. They're like what did we do wrong? What do we want to see in future years?
John Drake, like makes a lot of important decisions at Sony, and like the two of us were just cracking up about I saw the COD trailer where they had explosions, which Kyle wasn't sure if they did, and I don't know if you caught that at home. But they had straight up pyrotechnics during the Call of Duty event, and it was not like a visual thing where it was like, oh, spark here, spark here. It was literally just for volume and impact.
Right.
That when certain explosions would happen in the trailer, there was a legit explosion. It sounded like a car accident
surround
just
sound,
happened.
basically.
And Ryan Steven had
fire.
the quote of the century. After it was done, we were like, whoa! And he leans in. He's like, I feel like a dog on the 4th of July. It's like, yeah, I feel a little shell shocked right now.
Hey, Jones.
Yeah?
Do you remember when I asked for a nice, clean wrap-up?
You're not getting it. You remember when you sat off camera? Point being, madness. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to communicate to you. It is 1 a.m, and there's still more to do. There's still more to see. And so day 2 begins tomorrow. We're gonna check out cool stuff. We will be back potentially after the dinner break.
Yeah.
Are there concerns?
Did
dinner not
Kyle
happen on
did
time?
not like me being wishy-washy, so I guess exactly at 8 p.m.
Kyle will be here at 8 p.m. sharp to start a stream. The rest of the allies, maybe don't count on them. Maybe they'll be finishing a burrito right when we go live. But we have 2 more days, 8 more hours at least of all of the crazy stuff that we are seeing. I'm checking out Spider-Man tomorrow. Life is good.
You're checking out Spider-Man too?
Yeah, dude, Spider-Man first thing, my first appointment.
Nice.
So we're gonna have more stuff to talk about that we saw today and that we will check out tomorrow. We will be back 8 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. We are Easy Allies. I was a broken record all tonight. Everybody I talked to said,
yes.
How is life? How are you doing? And I said, life is amazing. We have 6,000 unbelievably devoted people on Patreon that are supporting us financially. They are the reason that we get to do what we do. We have, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are subscribed to us on Twitch. Hundreds of people that have recently subscribed to us thanks to our E3 coverage. All sorts of new people coming in. Amazing mod support. Just a tremendously positive community. And I've personally witnessed mods putting out fires in the community during our Twitch streams, and I'm just incredibly grateful. And that's who we are, and that's we are grateful for the coverage, and so therefore we are going to absolutely work ourselves to the bone to just absorb everything that we can at E3 and report all of that to you as coherently as we can with as little sleep as possible. But thank you so much for supporting us, and go follow us on all the things on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and of course here on Twitch.tv. And we will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Get some sleep, everybody.